Lake Mendocino Reservoir, August 17, 2014. I've hiked out about a half mile into the reservoir, and still I'm kneeling in water that's only about 2 feet deep. Hi, my name is Will Parrish. I'm an investigative journalist based in Ukiah, California. I'm writing a series of articles chronicling resistance to watershed destruction in the context of California's epic drought. As you know, journalists who challenge power structures and who investigate deeply into the causes of social ills tend not to receive very much financial support in the modern media marketplace. That's why I'm conducting an Indiegogo campaign to cover the cost of this project. No other area of equivalent size in the world has altered its watersheds to the extent that California has. This state is home to a staggering infrastructure of dams, reservoirs, power plants, pumping plants, canals, aqueducts, and other installations that are all about controlling where water goes and who receives it. Among those who benefit most from this system are the leaders of California's agribusiness empire. Many of the state's monocrop plantations improbably span desert and semi-desert landscapes such as those in the San Joaquin, Coachella, and Imperial Valleys. Agriculture commands between 70 and 80% of California's water. Large cities like Los Angeles, San Diego, and San Francisco also suckle at the concrete banks of California's canals, with extractive industries like fracking also taking a large part of the water supply. The system has not worked very well at all, though, for people who depend on healthy watersheds to sustain their ways of life, such as indigenous people. The system has promoted environmental and social injustices since its inception by systematically preventing low-income people and people of color from controlling their water resources, invariably setting them up with the most contaminated water supplies and disproportionately the highest water rates. As an example of the historical roots of these injustices, the United States Reclamation Service initially funded its irrigation projects throughout the American West, including in California, by expropriating land from Native Americans, then selling it to Euro-American farmers. The system also has not worked well for the life forms other than humans that depend on healthy aquatic habitats. While water is pumped in prodigious quantities into canals used by Central Valley and Southern California agribusiness and industry, populations of salmon, delta smelt, striped bass, longfin smelt, threadfin shad, American shad, and many other species have declined in the San Francisco Bay Delta watershed by more than 90% each since the State Water Project was developed in the 1960s. Many of these species, keystones of their ecosystems, now teeter on the brink of extinction. The year 2013 was the driest year on record in California. The first 6 months of 2014 were the hottest half year on record. Reservoirs such as Lake Mendocino, where I was kneeling at the beginning of this video, are drying up. Politicians and business leaders are seizing on the crisis by proposing to remake California's water system to a greater extent than any time since the State Water Project. The Delta Twin Tunnels, proposed by Governor Jerry Brown, is just the spear tip for all sorts of new schemes that would further constipate California's already plugged up waterways. As a new round of water grabs and power plays takes place across California, people all over the state are struggling against these dominant political and economic currents to protect their watersheds. These include indigenous people who have survived heinous violence and oppression to preserve cultures that are inseparably tied to their land bases. These include people who have been weaving and reweaving connections to watersheds, indigenous people, political radicals, small farmers, back-to-the-landers, and more. With your support, I'll produce an article every week for 15 weeks, taking on the biggest, most pressing issues I can that pertain to California's destructive water politics. Also taking time to present inspiring stories of people who are on the cutting edge of watershed protection and struggles for environmental justice. A list of some of the many groups, individuals, and issues I will be writing about is available on my Indiegogo page. In the last 4 years, I've written extensively for the Anderson Valley Advertiser here in Mendocino County, which, as you see here, has a masthead slogan of America's last newspaper, And for Counterpunch, the online journal and magazine. My work's also appeared in Alternet, Z Magazine, Earth First Journal, and various other publications. I'm happy to say that my work has contributed modestly to greater social justice and environmental sanity in this region. With this Indiegogo project, I'm branching out and hope to publish some of these pieces in national publications, help to bring these issues to a broader audience. Many of you watching this are aware that Caltrans is trying to take all of my money. Actually, they're trying to take money I don't even have, which is even worse. But I can assure you that I have really good legal representation, and Caltrans will not see a dime of the money that you contribute to this project. There's a saying in California that water flows uphill toward money, and if we're to change that and create a better future, I think some of these stories are going to be really important for creating a different understanding of how we need to relate to our watersheds and creating a different kind of politics. Thank you very much.